I am recording tonight's session, and we'll be able to share it with those that couldn't make it. So I hope everybody made it here now. Usually folks roll in a few minutes late, but we're going to go in with tonight's Popcorn Kickoff. Thank you all for joining me. And it is this is going to be a wild year for popcorn, wild year for everything. So thank you all for your interest in continuing the popcorn sale for your units. And we're hoping to be able to support you as much as possible throughout the sale. And gonna share with you tonight some of the things going on from the Trails End Company, as well as what we got going from the Pikes Peak Council more specifically. So I've got a slide deck that I'm gonna go through. If you have questions throughout the evening, you are going to just put those in the chat. And Monica is on here somewhere, and she may stop me. She's gonna kind of keep tabs on the chat and stop me if we have some urgent questions that need to be addressed. So, and at the end, we'll see how it's going. We might be able to unmute and have a little bit more conversation if we need to. So, got about 27 of us on here. So I am going to start another screen share. Everyone should be able to see my slide deck now. So, welcome again tonight to the 2020 Popcorn Kickoff. All right, why do we sell popcorn? Through the Trails End Company. That's the company that we use here in the Pikes Peak Council. It is not the only popcorn company that the Boy Scouts uses, but it's the one that we tend to use here. We get about a 73% return to scouting through all of the total sales. And that's all in everything, and then and we split that with our units. We want to make sure we're able to help fund our unit programs throughout the year. Ideally, this can be your one or your largest fundraiser throughout the year. We have several units that this is their only fundraiser, and they have no other dues structure within their unit. So, and that's pretty key. Knock it out, fund the program, and get going. Whatever that program is going to look like this year. And it's all about character development for scouts. Scouts are earning their own way. I grew up as a scout, and I sold a lot of popcorn, and I got to do a lot of really cool things as a scout. And then the Pikes Peak Council, this is also a fundraiser for the Pikes Peak Council. We share that commission with you all. All of our expenses related to popcorn come out of our piece of the pie. But we do retain a little bit, and that helps to just keep our operations going. And every little bit for our operations this year is extremely needed. Now move on. Trails End does a lot of the work. They launched this app last year. So if your scouts don't have the app, you're going to want to make sure that they all get the app. It helps the scouts to manage their sale completely, and it's where they get notifications throughout the sale. They get kind of pushed to get up to their goals, and in the end they will have access to the reward through the app. So it also allows free credit card processing. The credit card processing isn't actually free. It is paid for by Trails End. Real-time tracking and reporting of sales, so you can see as a unit leader how your scouts are doing with sales. You can manage your inventory, any storefronts if you have them. If anyone has had success getting storefront sales or storefront locations, we'd love to hear about that. We don't want to take your storefronts or anything, but we want to make sure we're curious how that's going. I know it's sort of a mixed bag out there. So families have an opportunity if they have collected cash throughout the sale. Apparently, they can pay what they owe the unit then via a credit card if they so choose. Just be sure you watch that and ensure that they've actually delivered popcorn and where they've collected cash. This allows, they've kind of incorporated the online direct orders into the app this year to fundraise while social distancing, and we're thinking that's going to take off a little bit this year. and we want to encourage that option too. Last year, this was used by over 14,500 units and over 160,000 scouts. And those units that really used it and used it for more than 75% of their sales in the app grew over 10% year over year from the year prior. So, and credit card transactions average about 27% higher than cash transactions. So if you don't have the app is for scouts. It is not how a leader uses the popcorn system. The leader portal doesn't work with the app. But likely everybody on this has a son or daughter that is selling popcorn. Pretty good chance of that. And but you can text app to 62771 to download the app, and app guide to 62771 to download the quick start guide, and that'll help get going. But that'll download, I think, as a PDF. You can email it out to your scouts. You can tell your scouts to text that, or they can find it in your app store of choice. So it's just called the Trails End app. You can find it in the App Store, the Apple App Store, or Google Play. And remember, only Scouts accounts can log into the app. Leader accounts doesn't have access for leaders. Leaders, you have your own Trails End portal, which all of you should have access to. If you don't, we'd love to hear about that. The cheat sheet for units, that app guide that I just alluded to is that. If I haven't put it on our website, it will be by tomorrow, and it'll be in our files and forms. Trails End Leader Portal. This is how you, the leader, has access to see everything that's going on. And that's, you log in at trails-end.com with your Trails End Leader account, and you can track all, like I said, track all your scout sales, manage your inventory, coordinate any storefronts and site and shifts. That's where you place your popcorn order. So you'll have an opportunity to order popcorn to pick up from the council, and then and your final order at the very end. And it's also where you finalize and submit rewards for scouts. They've gone through some improvements. Last year, the app, it was pretty good. It had a handful of weird little things that were a bit tough to work with, but for the most part, it worked really well. But they went through and they overhauled those tough parts. So it's faster, more intuitive for scout registration. So your scouts can actually sign up for their account a little easier and faster. Faster checkout during sales from 9 to 4 clicks, goes pretty quick. They've got some different views for product views. And like I said before, they can record online orders directly in the app. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's called Consumer Direct. Shareable online cart, so customers can enter shipping address and complete payment. Great, and that's great for social distancing. I'll talk about that real quick. Essentially, for an online order, it's only current for online orders. I've heard it's going to come for wagon sales as well, where the scout starts the order and then enters the customer's cell phone number. It sends a text to that cell phone, and that person then clicks the link in the text and finalizes the payment. So they never have to do anything. It's only for online or consumer direct right now, and that'll be some other stuff should be coming with that. But new undelivered logic for wagon sales, so Scout entering them correctly. That's probably the biggest pain last year, was it would mark orders delivered when they really weren't, or it would mark them undelivered when they really were, or rather it defaulted to one of those settings and Scouts didn't know it. So it wasn't actively doing it, but it was not intuitive. Credit card payment option for parents to pay cash owed to the unit, and an improved Trails End reward focused on reaching the next level and goal. So Scouts should get kind of encouragement throughout the sale to help them reach their goal. And you should encourage all your Scouts to set a goal, and they can do that in their account. Unit Leader Portal improvements. They've got some on-screen guides to help unit leaders learn. I'd say it is pretty intuitive when you get in there. Consolidated Scout table view to quickly manage the orders. Robust products table to easily view inventory at storefronts and with Scouts, so you can kind of see where all your popcorn's at. An ability to convert orders between wagon and storefront. So sometimes orders got put in wrong last year, and it created some issues, so that we can fix that now. And there's a training tab with videos and documents to walk you through every step. So that is really, really key. And I think a lot of those videos are also on the Trails End YouTube page. But there's other documents in there too. Well worth your time. Trails End rewards. Trails End, you may have seen some stuff early this year around January and February, I think, where Trails End launched a rewards program that they had done some overhauling. And since then, they have overhauled it again. And so now they've gone to a points-based system. So rewards aren't based on straight-up sales. And so they are, it's points-based, and they earn points in different ways. So for every $1 sold online direct, they earn 2 points, and 1.5 for any credit or debit card, and 1 point for every cash order. So it really is encouraging that online direct for extra points. That is the safest way to sell popcorn. It is not the only way to sell popcorn, but it is obviously the safest way. So, and I've got that page is on our website, so you probably can't see all the stages really well. So
we actually have a really cool from Michael Claybaugh. He said, you guys can create a free QR code on a piece of paper, and he gives you a link and says, this way your scout can log into trailsend.com, get the link to their sales page, and then create their QR code, print it, and have people just pull out their phone from a distance to go to the page. Or you got a link to the sales sheet so they can just look on their phones and just tell them what they want to order. It's a really cool way to keep social distancing too.
That is, thank you, Michael, for that comment. I like it. I like that a lot. It is a really great way to do that. We'll talk about some other things that we're going to be providing, and it sounds like they're going to go really well, or there is a lot of interest in those items, and incorporating this with those is pretty good. So, and then here's another page about the Trails End rewards and all the different levels. There's a ton of different levels there. But I would say that last year when we went to 100% Amazon gift cards, it was generally very well liked from unit leaders in terms of not having to figure out exactly which prize and thing that each scout earned. They get to purchase their own thing from Amazon. Most everybody has Amazon or Prime. Not quite everybody, I get that, but a lot of folks do these days. So, and it's all right there in the app for scouts to follow along. So if you have not yet committed to the popcorn sale, we'd like you to do that. You can commit now at trails-n.com/unit-registration. Ideally, most of you have done that, but if you haven't, make sure you do. You should have received some emails or contact, or we've been reaching out to committee chairs of units to make sure we get everybody committed to the sale. So we know who to communicate with, and we know that you are selling, and that we should expect things coming from you. So you don't miss a deadline, so we can follow up. So, and then Trails End has some really great webinars that they kind of have a whole staff of people that manage these webinars. And if you go to trails-n.com/webinars, they have different types of webinars, some for top selling units, some for mid-grade, some for kind of first-timer units. And then they also have webinars for scouts, where they kind of talk about best practices and things like that. And they have them all throughout the day and the evening. And that's where they really get into the nitty-gritty on how to use the leader portal, how to go and really use the app. And they've got a great staff that is there to help answer any questions that you have there. Now, if you ask questions specific to the Pikes Peak Council, they will not have answers for you. But if you ask questions about the app or something like that, or the leader portal, they can answer that much better than I can. I would say that. But I highly suggest sitting in on one of those.
John Shell has a question, Brandon. It says, Trails End popcorn sales are all year long. How do commissions and prizes work if scouts sell in the summer?
So we kind of keep tabs on it throughout the year, and we deal with those sometimes in the off season. Trails End does some straight to gift card sort of things. I will tell you, online sales, we do between $70,000 and $90,000 during our popcorn sale, depending on the year, and about $30 in the off season. So while it is available, our scouts are not doing it. But if you have somebody that you think has done that, let me know. But we deal with those commissions as needed, I guess. But right now, if you're asking about right now everything rolls into to what we consider our annual sale. So that has begun for online sales. Trails End also has some Facebook pages as well. We have a Facebook group for the Pikes Peak Council, and Trails End manages a couple Facebook groups for all of Trails End, and those are more nationwide, where you can get some questions answered from some Trails End staff, discover best practices from around the country. So I suggest, if you're really into that, hop on those, and I think they have some for parents too, and you can check those out. Locally, we highly suggest you partake in the one that we have. That's where we put any information going on locally here. We'll put it out through there, and then units can use it to transfer inventory between units should they want to. That's probably where it gets the most use. And then we highly suggest this year, we want everybody to work together to help everybody out. If you're having a really great time or some really great luck doing something, we'd like you to share your successes on that Facebook page. So I think I talk about that in a little bit, but you can start selling now to kind of piggyback on John Shell's question here. Online sales are happening right now. You can jump on that. We don't know what COVID-19 is going to do. We don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, let alone what it's going to do in 2 months. So we want to make sure our scouts are able to do that. So right now is a great time to encourage all your scouts to download that app and start going with online direct sales. Trails End has random other benefits to some of the online direct throughout the sale. So we want to make sure all of our scouts are on there and going. So here's some key dates locally here in the Pikes Peak Council. Your first order is due online on Tuesday, August 25th, and we will make sure to follow up with everybody to make sure if you want some upfront inventory, you have ordered it. We do know, and I've put this in some of the newsletters going out, our inventory from Trails End is going to be severely limited. We've also seen we're by no means on the front end of nationwide popcorn sales. They've been taking orders for several weeks now. Trails End has seen significant decreases in what units are ordering. We want you to order what you think you can sell. We intend to work to have some extra on hand, but I think a lot of units are self-limiting on that and really trying to push some other ways, take order and things like that. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Our first distribution is going to be on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning of September 11 and 12. And unfortunately, if you've been popcorn share for a long time, and unfortunately, we will not be distributing out of Ace Warehouse this year due to COVID. They are unable to welcome us back this year. So we had a good long run of 19 years at that warehouse, and it's very disappointing. So we're going to have the full details coming out about that, but we're essentially going to be setting up a drive-through distribution in our lower parking lot here at the office, and full details coming on that. But it will be more specifically scheduled times, and we ask that you be as close to that scheduled time as possible to keep things going. And then final order for all the take order and the final stuff is going to be on Tuesday, October 27, and then final distribution Saturday, November 14, likely similar distribution to the first. So, and then final payments will be due Monday, November 30 to the Pikes Peak Council here, and then commission checks available December 15. So any other dates or deadlines we'll be sharing throughout the sale on our Facebook and in our newsletters. So we did got a commission structure change for this year. So back in April, when we were doing program planning kickoff stuff, we had a different commission structure all planned out. that we sort of overhauled in the last several weeks, that we didn't necessarily think was appropriate given the time. It seemed to be a little more, it required a lot more of units that maybe are unable to meet some of those goals this year. So we want to try to help you out as much as possible and try to help you fund your program and everything like that. So we kind of backed off of a few of the things that we needed. So, or we're going to ask for. So your base commission, baseline of everything you sell is going to be at 30%. And then if you have unit membership growth, just one member growth. And so we're talking year-end 2019 growth by October 31st. That is worth 5%, and that is just one member. It's not 10 or 15% growth. It's just one member. And then high selling growth bonus. So high selling means if you sell over $10,000, you get that. Or if you grow by 15% over last year, you get that. So and that's 5%. And then any unit that sells over $20,000 gets another 3% for a total available of 43%. So that's our commission structure. We have much more information about that on our website. And then we also have a spreadsheet that you can download. If somebody reminds me, we can show you where that is at the end. And I'll put that in the newsletter that's going out tomorrow on how you get to that. And that will have your specific metrics for your unit, for unit membership growth and the high selling and growth bonus. So, and it'll talk about availability, potential availability for the upfront. So. And then
another question in the chat, Brandon. Sure. Are we encouraging show and sell, or do we?
Are we encouraging show and
sell?
Yeah. Show and sell, absolutely you can. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. If you have been having luck from storefronts that are allowing you to set up and do show and sell, 100% do it safely. We've got some information on here and talk about that. It is a very mixed bag as to what stores will allow it. So, like I said, online and consumer direct is the safest way to sell. It is by no means the only way to sell. And I think if you have an opportunity, if your families are comfortable doing it and you're doing it safely, show and sell can still be fairly lucrative. Somebody else saying the bag says 77% goes back to Boy Scouts. Where does the other 30 to 35 go? They don't say, they should only say about 73%, but the 30 to 35, that is the cost of the product to Trails End. So that is what we were paying Trails End for. Bass Pro, I had that question the other night. We're reaching out to them, have not heard from them. We're not sure. As soon as we know, we will keep you posted. So one of the next things is to host yourself a virtual kickoff using Zoom or similar software, whatever you guys have been using for your virtual meetings since March. And Trails End has a really great presentation that you can download. They put a lot of work in it, sort of helping units out. And you can text kickoff to 62771 to download that. I think I also have downloaded it and put it on the website. If not, it'll be there by tomorrow. I got a handful of documents to put up where you can just download that and check it out. And then put anything that's specific for us in there. And then talk about, here's a sample agenda for that. And they've also put out some documents about how to sell $1,000 social distancing in 8 hours. There are definitely scouts that can do it in 8 hours. I wish you very well and good luck. So I know some can and will, absolutely. And then it talks about, talk about the rewards program, get everybody to download that app and get logged on. And then any unit-specific promotions that you have, and we highly suggest you do that. Key dates for the sale, I put our dates out there, so you may want to backdate just a little bit to ensure that you are meeting the deadlines here. And then you can ask them to join any Trails End Scout Parents Facebook groups and things like that. How to sell popcorn in 2020. So this is more Pikes Peak Council specific ideas that we put together. So one of the big things that this app has enabled us to do, and it's nice that they launched it last year, if data in, data out, start with last year's customers. So if your unit fully embraced the app in the leader portal last year and you documented every single sale, you've got a leg up this year. So all of the customer data from 2019, your 2019 sale is still in the Popcorn system if your scouts put it in. And to find that, you go to your reports section in your leader portal, and there's a date range in the top right corner. Change that to about August 1 to November 30. That should get most everything. And then you run the sales transaction detail report. There's also a report called sales transaction report. That one has some information. It doesn't have everything you want. You want to make sure you run the sales transaction detail report. And then you can sort that list by scout. It comes out in Excel, and you can send it to them. And so it can include address, phone number, email address, and product purchased from all the customers from wagon sales. It does include that information for any online sales because scouts didn't have to put it in. And I would have all your scouts call and email for sales, follow up by sharing their page via the app, and encourage scouts to enter all their data this year to put you a leg up for next year. So I highly recommend you pull that data. I cannot pull that data for you. That's kind of some checks and balances in the Trails End system. I do not have access to pull a council-wide report, or I would. So make sure you're following up with everybody, and I think it's hot leads. So that's where to kind of start, get that customer base from last year. Safest way to sell. Obviously online direct, completely social distanced. It may not be the most lucrative way to sell, but it is certainly safe. So you're going to have families in your unit that are all levels of comfortable with what is going on in the world right now. So from we're not leaving our house to why on earth can't we just get together and have a big party? So I am not encouraging anyone to do anything dangerous, but support those that support everyone and respect everyone's comfort level. Scouts can earn double points for their Trails End rewards. And so the online direct, so one of the big revamp things that they did this year is all of the product prices match what our order form has. And so we've got that $10 opening price point. However, they do have shipping. They are running some free shipping weekends and things like that, but they do currently have shipping. It is $7.99 for the first item and then 99 cents per item after that, which if you've ever tried to ship some of this stuff, $7.99 is probably less than half the cost to ship most of these products. And products are pop fresh to order, shipped direct to the consumer. And so that's obviously the safest way. How that works, you can share the page. Scouts log into that app. Like I said, most of you probably have a kid that is selling popcorn. And you want to make sure you hop on that app with them, help them through it, figure out how it works so you can talk to your other folks. I have a dummy Scout account that has an app. So it is super, super easy to use. You want to share your fundraising page via text, email, social media. Customers click that link to place the order, products ship right to them. And then you can take online direct orders in the app. So face-to-face, you can place an order for a customer. And that's where I said they have that social distancing finalization part to it. But currently that's only with the online stuff because it sort of sends a text to the customer and lets them finish out the sale. So got a couple questions here.
Do we happen to know when free shipping weekends will happen?
I don't. So Trails End keeps those. We had one just last weekend that we announced. Trails End keeps those. They want to continue to. They want to continue to be able to sell their products and not just have everything come in on the free weekends. They do give us notice though, and we put it out. They give us about I think usually I'll find out on a Thursday night for a Friday night start. So we put it in our newsletter every Friday. We share it on our social media when it happens. So last weekend was a free weekend, and weekend prior was like a half price weekend. Somebody said it raised their hands, but I don't see a message from them, so I'm assuming it was a misstep. But all right, door-to-door, take order. So when I say take order or door-to-door sales, I mean I consider that an undelivered wagon sale. So in your app, you're going to see, it says storefront or site sales and wagon sales. So wagon sale is kind of that I've got product with me, I go door-to-door and sell it. Take order is I go door-to-door without product and I sell it and take that order. So way back in 2010, the Pikes Peak Council did over $1 million in take orders. So no product up front, just taking orders. And I understand the world has changed a lot in the last 10 years, but it can still be a great way to sell. We still have units that do not do any upfront. They don't have any upfront product. For the most part, all of our Eastern Plains units in our council do it this way, and do it pretty well. So be safe, sell with a family member, wear a mask. It's always a good idea to notify your neighborhood before heading out via Nextdoor or other neighborhood social media platforms. Canvass the neighborhood, knock on every door. The scouts that do this well keep a little map. They mark every door off on a map, and they don't, until they get a no or a yes, they do not stop. Or maybe we've been there 8 times. So we are providing some, I call them sorry I missed you door hangers and business cards to leave behind should your scouts want them. And scouts put their name and online scout code on the hanger or card, and they can leave it behind, and hopefully a customer can get with them there. So I also recommend maybe laminating a product form. You could print off that QR code that was mentioned before, and maybe put that under there. Clean that, wipe down that laminated form between customers, and you can enter the sales in the app and take their payment, get it all done. And you can do door-to-door sales and ship direct to the customer like that, like we mentioned earlier, or order them here and we'll have it. You'll just deliver it later. So that is still a classic, and I think we have some units from the Eastern Plains, and I think they can attest to doing very, very well selling just door-to-door. Wagon sales, so I call it show and deliver. That's kind of old school terminology, but they call it wagon sales these days. So this is door-to-door, but you've got product in hand. So this means you've ordered product up front. Your scouts, you might distribute it to your scouts, giving them kits, or maybe you do it differently. But so Trails End is limiting the availability of upfront product quite a bit, as well as a lot of units are self-limiting. And so I suggest a unit does a unit-wide blitz day where you put all your product in a couple of vehicles and you do that door-to-door and you say, hey, look, I have that right here now. I can get that for you and bring it right back and do it unit-wide. So you don't have 20 different show and deliver kits checked out to 20 different scouts. You have it all in a couple of minivans, and you can deal with it a little better. Again, canvass that neighborhood and have the product nearby for all to use. So we do have a sample contract and kit on our website, and you can edit that as needed, whatever fits your needs best. So and we can't guarantee that we can, if you've got a unit of 50 scouts and they all want one of these kits, we might not be able to do that for you. We'll talk about some of that in a little bit. So, and then of course the classic storefront. This is a lot of our sale is shifting to storefront, or has been shifting to storefront in the last few years. Like I said, it's a very mixed bag on stores allowing storefront sales this year. So if you have access, be safe. We highly suggest, and we have been suggesting, that only a single family at a time works the storefront. If you got one scout, you got one scout. If you got 2 scouts, you got 1 scout. If you got 3 scouts, you got half a scout. So you want to keep them focused and do their thing. If you're doing this, wear the mask, promote the ability to take credit cards. And I will tell you, results vary wildly with storefront. You want to make sure that your scouts, and this goes for all sales, you want to make sure your scouts have practiced their sales pitch. You want to make sure that they're good at what they're doing and they are confident in what they're doing. I'll tell you, I've asked a handful of units about some of their storefront sales data and how many and what they sell per hour. So our top seller in the council, who he sells, you know, over $30,000 in some years, and so he's kind of a way big outlier in terms of ability, but he puts in a lot of time, but he outsells per hour the other scouts in his troop by 2 to 3 times, and it's just because he has just a really good pitch. He practices a lot. He, you know, I've been told by his mother that, you know, he'll make the pitch to a potential customer. They'll walk in the store and they'll come back to him after he comes out and say, look, I thought about what you said the whole time I was in there, and you really compelled me to come back and buy popcorn from you. So just being confident and making that pitch is really good. So, and then we're pitching this idea. I don't know how well it'll work, but say your store that you always go to won't allow a storefront sale. Ask them if you could do a drive-through setup in the back of the parking lot, where you create popcorn signs to entice customers. Customers never have to leave their car. One station maybe shows a menu of options, a laminated order form or something. Second station maybe takes an order on an app. And that third station loads up the popcorn in the vehicle and gives them a thank you card that we are happy to provide you. And or talk to your charting organization or your school about allowing this and how they can help promote it. We've been talking about opening up our parking lot here at the office on weekends, or whenever units want to do it. We'll create a schedule and get that out if units want to try it here. I don't know what the success of this will be, but we're all throwing spaghetti at the walls these days. Obviously, credit cards are best for scouts. You're not handling cash. There's all kinds of reasons to handle cash. Number one, people like me don't carry cash. And number two, probably every year, every other year or so, we get units that maybe some cash goes missing after it's been collected. I think we had a unit last year that unfortunately took in some counterfeit cash. Yes, that happens right here in Colorado Springs, and stuff like that. So obviously, scouts get bigger rewards when they're doing through taking credit cards. It's safer. You're not dealing with cash. Higher sales. Customers spend a little bit more. Way easier. And there is some hardware that I think a lot of units have. A lot of square readers now. Trails End had been providing some based on your unit sales in the past, if you committed. And once again, people like me, we don't carry cash anymore. And I think there's a lot. So some of the things that we are providing this year, we've got these door hangers that we are providing. We ordered a whole bunch of them. I thought it was going to be plenty. After the kickoff the other night, we've got a whole bunch of units coming to us saying, hey, how many of those can we get? So we're going to order more. And then we've got them available here at the office already. We're going to have them available at our first distribution, but we want to make sure we've got them. And we can sort some stuff out for all you folks on the Eastern Plains to get you some too. But basically it features a doorknob cutout right there between the Trails End and Support Scouting. And the front side has a place for the scout name and scout code. Heads up, it is a glossy finish, but an ultra-fine tip permanent marker. You know the kind, works really well. And if you don't touch it for the first half second, it won't smear. And then it does direct consumers to purchase with online direct. But in the backside supports scouting programs. So kind of a 1-2 punch there. Hoping to help you guys find some new scouts as well. So that's that. We're gonna have a whole bunch of those available. Then we have some business cards that are basically the same thing. That maybe some scouts want this instead. You can leave this at the front door somewhere else. I don't know if it's totally appropriate everywhere, but maybe pop these under some windshield wipers at that store where you're doing the drive-through. Maybe your chartering organization, or things like that. It's got a place for your Scout name and Scout code. The backside of these are blank, so Scouts can personalize it. And feel free to use it to have them call you for a wagon sale. Don't feel the need to only use online direct. Obviously, that's the printed. It does direct at that. It doesn't have to though. So you can say, hey, give me a call. I have products on hand. Call me at X, and I'd love to stop by and sell you some popcorn. And then we got these thank you cards that if you're doing any show and sell or drive-through or whatever, we highly suggest you hand this to the customer when they buy that popcorn. Again, business card size. We encourage Scouts to leave this with all your orders. It's got a place for that Scout code. And it encourages customers to order more or share the card with a friend. So maybe you'll get some other customers when somebody says, hey, we had some Scout popcorn. You should order some from Billy. Blank side, the back side again on these are blank, so Scouts can personalize it. We highly suggest your Scouts personalize these. Just gives it that extra touch.
How do units materials, Brandon?
How do you, hang on. Say that again? Okay. Okay, so we've got, sorry, you're breaking up, Monica, but I can read it here. What do we have to do in order to get the business and thank you tracks to hand out? So
are these materials that
Monica, you're breaking up really bad, but I can read I got the chat up here. So so like I said, we are gonna prepackage these in little bundles of 100 or so and pass them out during our first distribution. We already have the door hangers on hand at the office. And so if you happen to be in the office, we're on the office side, we've got some. And then we will have the thank you cards, and the other little cards are literally in shipment. They should be arriving probably early next week, and we'll have the same system there. So and if somebody needs some, talk to your DE, and they'd be happy to get you some wherever you are. So somebody said they got a Square Reader because they sold at a certain level last year. Yep, and that's what I was. Some of you did if you sold at a certain level last year and committed to the sale at a certain point. So some of the resources we've got here. Weekly popcorn newsletter. I try to send out this popcorn newsletter about every Friday afternoon. Some weeks it's really a repeat of what it's been in the past. And then we also post a link to it on Facebook. Sometimes it doesn't make it out till Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. We have the Pikes Peak Council Facebook group, Popcorn Facebook group. It's a great place for units to share best practices. I ask you to keep it classy. We do have, just treat each other with respect. And then Trails End has some Facebook groups, great ideas from leaders across the country. Trails End has a YouTube channel. Last year, they uploaded a whole bunch of videos on how to use the app in the leader portal because that was brand new. They do have a new app video for your Scouts that they launched last week or so. If you go to our website, just pikespeakbsa.org/popcorn, or just go to our homepage and click the little popcorn button on the left. We have some stuff there. Under files and forms is where I talk about some of these documents, and they live all right there under files and forms. Always, always, always email or call me with questions. Brandon.Vavra@scouting.org or 219-2910. Happy to help you guys out. We want to make sure you guys have all the help you need getting your popcorn sale going. And then some of your next steps. You should be looking at hosting a unit kickoff, talking to your families about their commitment level, what your plans are, how you want to go about it. You're going to place your first order. Like I said, that's August 25. and we will make sure to remind everybody about that first order. And then we've got, like I said, under those files and forms, we've got an availability template on our website. So basically it pulls up the data from your first order last year, and it says, we think we have the availability of up to this amount. One big thing this year, unfortunately, we've got to go to a 0 return policy for that first order. Prior to a few years ago, we didn't have any returns. As things shifted more and more to storefront, we started taking some returns, but even before COVID, we were planning to severely limit our return availability for this year. But unfortunately, we can't take any returns this year. So and your availability is going to be limited. I don't necessarily see the 0 returns as an issue based on some of the things I've heard from units and seen. But once again, our job is it is to support units. You know, I'm not here to bankrupt a Cub Scout pack or a Scout BSA troop. So if there is an issue, we want to be able to help you out as much as we can. So we are allowing you to transfer product between units if you want to, and things like that. Highly suggest you do that with care, and things like that. And then, like I said, I talked about a little bit earlier, the distribution changes. Ace is unable to host us this year. It's very, very disappointing. But we'll have full details about our distribution in the coming weeks. Distribution is Friday and Saturday, September 11th. Yep, yeah, Corlin, you can still transfer to other units. But I'd also like, folks, if you've done a lot of returns in the past, or if you've been keen on that, keep me posted as to what's going on with your inventory. I don't want it to come down to the end of October and find out a unit has 15 cases of popcorn in the garage. We want to deal with that much earlier. So don't want that go too long. Contacting support. I'm always here to answer your questions about popcorn. You can call me or email me, and you can call me or email me about Pikes Peak Council specific questions, inventory, distribution dates, etc. If you have questions about the app, leader portal, online sales, one of your online customers didn't receive their order, things like that, that is a question for support@trails-end.com. I am fully happy if you copy me on emails that you send to them. I like to keep tabs on their return time and make sure that they're helping you out like they're supposed to. So if you're not getting the answers that you need from them, I always like to be in the know. So if anybody has any questions, you can start popping those in the chat. I'm going to go over some of the products here. I think I got a couple slides here. Oh yeah, here is, I'll have this so you don't have to write all this down. Trails End got really into this text keywords thing all of a sudden. But there's and I've gone and texted and downloaded all these documents and put them on our website, so you don't have to text to get them all. But I'll make sure that's all in the newsletter for tomorrow. So here is the product lineup. If you have not seen it yet, we put this out I think a week or two ago in our newsletter. So as you can see, Trails End has gone through, they have not been spared from COVID. They have had to retool their factories and things like that, and have changed what is available. So as you'll see, there is no chocolate product available that you will touch as a scout leader or a scout unit. So this is all there is for our take order. The chocolate stuff is online, and we'll get to that in a second. But we've got, so the exact same products are available for the first order and the second order that you will put hands on. Cheese Lovers at $35, and that contains a white cheddar popcorn and a Blazing Hot. That's a new product, that Blazing Hot. Comes in a gift box, probably pretty similar to last year. I think maybe it's a little more square. Salted caramel popcorn, that delicious, delicious salted caramel popcorn. Blazing Hot, I'm really intrigued about this. I'm told the heat, because I was curious, I like spicy stuff. I'm told the heat is inspired from those flamin' hot Cheetos. So think that style. And then a big bag of white cheddar popcorn. And then Unbelievable Butter comes in a pre-popped. There is no, you might notice there's no microwave popcorn on this list. I think that's kind of a mixed bag of emotions around that, but it's not there. So they do have pre-popped Unbelievable Butter. Popping corn, that's my favorite. I like to make my own popcorn and some caramel corn. So popping corn, now it's a $15 item, and it comes in a big old jar. So a little bit more there, and a nice resealable jar because you don't use that whole bag at once. And then military and first responder donations at 50 and 30. And then Online Direct has some other ones. Here is the Online Direct. So there's your chocolate items. We got chocolatey caramel crunch coming in a tin, is available online. So if you've got some of those customers that missed those tins, you can send them right there. And then we've got chocolatey caramel crunch, dark chocolate salted caramels. Those sound delicious. And then some of the other stuff. So there is one Unbelievable Butter 12-pack that is available online. And then we've got a Chocolate Lovers tin, as well as a Chocolate Lovers bundle for a little bit less if you don't want the tin. Same products, just no tin. Then that Cheese Lovers bundle. So, like I said earlier, customers currently pay shipping at $7.99 plus 99 cents per additional item. Then here's some information about the donations. So this is my last slide. How does the direct responder donation work? Is it local? What popcorn do they get? So here's a little bit more about that. The first responder is sort of a new addition. The military donations, this really talks about that, this slide here. And we've dabbled with a little localized military donations here to kind of, last year our returns got us upside down in a couple of products, and we were able to do some military donations with those. The pre-popped Unbelievable Butter hasn't been showing up on your Scouts sales page. Is that because it's now only available via Wagon Sales? It is available online. I'm pulling up my app here. I'm gonna turn off the slideshow so it's not talking head. Hello again. Yeah. Pre-popped Unbelievable Butter should be in the online stuff. It is definitely in. Just looking at mine. I hadn't noticed, but it's not on mine either. So I will, I'll write that down. Anybody else have any questions?
Another question is from Bev Brooks. Did you get that one? Last year with door-to-door, we had to put in Scout orders and then put them in again for the final order. Does it upload this year if we do that? Question mark.
I don't know. But last year there was an undelivered report that you essentially pulled the data off of that. So it is imperative that everything that is delivered is marked as delivered, and if it is undelivered is marked as undelivered. So that's I don't know all the details. That was a bit of a surprise for me last year. But essentially you ran an undelivered report and just plugged that in, which I didn't totally understand either, and it was a kind of a big sticking point for me as well. Does anybody else have any questions? One of the things I want to do this year with my newsletters and on our Facebook page is highlight successes. So if you guys are doing well, if you've got like I said before, if you've got some storefronts, hey, we're having good luck with King Soopers or whatever. try out the King Supers in your neighborhood. Put that stuff on the Facebook page, and we'd love to share highlights. Hey, we did this weekend, and we did the drive-through, and it worked really well. Or if you had an account from last year, do you just register with the app again, or just use the pass? If you had an account from last year, it's the same login information, both Leader Portal as well as Scout. Curious, here are the door hangers. We'll have, they're available downstairs. So if there are no other questions, I'm gonna, I think we will end it. Oh yeah. Scouts that have previously qualified for the Trails End Scholarship. So if you're brand new, this doesn't mean a whole lot, but previous qualifiers for the Trails End Scholarship, I think Trails End contacted those families directly. I assume your son Linda is one of those scouts. Let me know if they haven't. I don't have, it was a while ago. The world has changed since they made that change. I don't remember exactly how it is, but they are still putting in, I think it's for 3 years that they will continue to fund that scholarship for pre-qualified scouts, but there are no more new ones going into that program. If we wanted a bunch of door hangers, like 200, do we need to order those? No, you can come on by and just ask Kathy. I've talked to Kathy about having them available. You might shoot your DE an email and say, hey, can you snag me 200 of those and set them aside for me? That would be helpful. And get that. The order forms are also here at the office. They're not mailable, so they are here at the office. And we will have those at the distribution day in September, but we want to get your scouts those sooner than later. Again, if you need talk to your DE, you can email me or whatever, and we're happy to deliver those to somebody or get them to you somehow. So, okay, Linda, I don't know all the details on that. I assume it's 4% of total sales. I assume. So, other than that, I wish you all good luck and be safe and be well, and we'll see you around. Thank you all.